it's just like you know that there's something off, something's not quite right, and you'll know. Um, I think sometimes too, like you can find yourself having, bad dreams and things like that. So those are some of the things that, some signs that you can basically see that your energy is off. If anyone else can, wants to chime in, oh, lemon tree. Okay. If anyone wants to chime in regarding like other ways that you can tell your energy's off, feel free to do that. But these are some of the things that I personally do to assure that I balance my energy. Hey, Fletcher, welcome to the live. Okay, so I'm gonna start with one of the things that I do. Okay, so one of the things that I do is journaling. This is actually something that I've been doing for quite some time. I'm not sure if other folks in the live also do the same thing, but journaling, I find that it's one of those things that helps you to kind of like purge out any energy that you don't want, right? You can just do freestyle journaling, like you don't necessarily have to have a particular subject in mind. And some people may say that they're not sure of what to write. And one fun exercise that I've been taught in terms of how to start journaling, you actually just write, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And then eventually, if you write that long enough, you're going to find that you're going to find something to write about. And then your thoughts will actually start flowing. Um, I think actually a lot of writers end up, you know, getting their flow that way too. Okay, so um, a lot of people sometimes like they write in their journal. You can write, burn, and release those certain energies that you feel like are kind of like weighing you down. So that's one thing that you can do. Aside from writing down, writing, burning, and releasing. Um, you know, writing down what you want and like your future desires, I feel like sometimes also takes the focus on whatever it is that's going on. All right, so that's the second thing. I mean, I really don't think that there's like specific prompts, and I think that if you are led to write, you're going to find what to write about. But that's definitely something that helps in clearing out the energies. And I'm pretty sure like you can find various prompts, online if you're trying to find, what to write about. But essentially, like the writing is not so much for the content. A lot of times it's more so for like releasing the energy. Writing is one of those things that really helps to like release unwanted energy. And you'll find that in terms of like feeling unbalanced, a lot of times that's what makes you feel unbalanced is that there's a lot of unwanted energy in your aura and you're not sure where it comes from. And doing various things sometimes can kind of pinpoint where it is coming from. And I think writing is one of those things that can help. And it doesn't really, there's no specific protocol. Like you don't have to do just one thing. If you find that you start writing and the writing is not helping, or you feel like there are other things that you get to do, then there are other things that you can do. Okay. So one of the things, Christy, you said for your soul. Okay. I grow mint to drink and ground. Okay, yeah, mint. Um, Definitely. It's interesting you said that because I was just burning some mint essential oil. I think it was yesterday I was burning it. So that's actually a good segue into the next thing that you can do. So one of the things that I do is I also, like burn oils, or you could do um, I guess you could say that's aromatherapy. So you can use essential oils, okay? There's essential oils that you can use. You can also use incense, okay? You can choose whichever one works for you. Essentially what it is using aromatherapy, right? Like it's essentially using your senses, because a lot of times what makes you feel off balance, it's picked up from different like modalities, right? It could be something that you see, or it could be something that you smell. Believe it or not, it could be something that you smell that completely throws you off your energy. Something that you touch, like the various modalities is how we pick up energy. So in essence, one of the ways, some of the ways that we get to ground ourselves is to use those various modalities to also help heal, to help ground our energies. A lot of people may not know this, but when you go out there and I say out there, wherever it is, you can go to an event or you go to work or actually just stepping outside, you pick up energy. A lot of times that throws your energy off. And sometimes you can be irritated and you're not sure why, you're not sure, what happened, because you left kind of like in a cheery disposition, and then you're coming back kind of like irritated. A lot of times what that is that you're picking up energies from the surrounding environments that you're not sure of. And so this is why, like, before you even use a lot of these things, it's important that you ground your energy before you go out. Okay, so I'm giving you some of the techniques that you can use, once you kind of like feel your energies off. Essentially, the best thing for you to do is to ground your energy before, okay, you expose yourself to different environments. I would even say that, especially when you know you're going to be going into like large crowds, that's huge, because you don't know what kind of energy that what it is that you're going to run into. And I mean, it's always best to avoid those situations if you can. Avoid large crowds if you know that you're someone that like is really sensitive to energy. Because especially if you're an empath, you're very likely to pick up a lot of that energy, regardless of what it is. You can pick it up from hearing it. Okay, so the different modalities, you can pick up these energies from hearing it. You can pick it up from seeing it. You can pick it up from especially people touching you. Be careful with that. Like it's not everyone that you should be giving hugs to. It's not everyone that you should be shaking hands with, because energy is exchanged that way. All right. So what I was saying before is it's always best to ground your energy before you know that you're going to go out to a place or wherever it is, that you can potentially pick up energy. And how do you do that? And how do you make sure that you ground your energy before you go out there? Okay, there's various things that you do. You can do some breathing exercises. All right, make sure that um, you're in a state where you already know you're going out there in a balanced way. Because if you're not grounded before you go out there, it's kind of like, how do I compare that? I always think of it as like a tree, right? Depending on how grounded the tree is, if the wind blows, regardless of, how the wind blows, if the tree is grounded, it's gonna stay. It's gonna stay where it is. But if the tree is not grounded, right? If the roots are not planted, then it's more likely to fall. So ground yourself before you go out there. Do some breathing exercises. I would say drinking plenty of water. You could also do these things, the journaling, the burning of the oil, all of that stuff before you go out there. Now, that's not to say that regardless of how much writing you do, how many, incense sticks you burn, or how much oil you burn, that you're not gonna, still experience, some of those decentering. Let's see. Christine, you said you can shield yourself. Isn't You can shield yourself. What do you mean, Christine? Saging? Absolutely. Yeah, there's different types of um there's different types of incense, of course. I just happen to have this on hand, so I brought it as an example. I actually prefer the incense where you take the actual herbs like sage, rosemary, what are some other ones? Lemongrass, uh, actually even spices too. You can burn cinnamon if you didn't know that. You can actually burn cinnamon. So yeah, you can definitely use different types of incense. Oh yeah, Palo Santo is awesome. There's frankincense, myrrh. You can use the resins also to center yourself, center your energy. Roland. Oh wait, let me read Christine's first. I'm breath. Oh yes, breathing. Breathing to shield yourself, absolutely important. Christine, you said no. Roland said, okay, the stones, black tourmaline, meditating by slow flowing water, Maldavite. Yeah, definitely the use of stones and crystals are important because essentially you're using nature's elements, right? Because if you think about grounding, even when you're thinking about like a tree planted in the ground, right? It's the tree is using nature to find, to center itself in a sense, right? To make sure that it stays where it wants to stay. And speaking of that, setting intentions. Okay, setting intentions are very powerful. Why? And what is that saying? That's saying that you know the power of your mind. You know how powerful your mind is. That's actually, I would say, I don't know if it's more important. I would say, in addition to all those things, making sure that you go out in the right kind of mindset is going to be important. Okay, so Palo Santo, cedar, okay. Crystals are good for grounding, absolutely. Okay. Are there any questions so far? Any questions for me regarding the topic or anything else that you want to ask? Planting. That's right. So one of the things that I absolutely love is planting. Okay. Touching the soil. That's absolutely important. Thank you. Who said that? Christine. Christine brought that up. So planting is actually one of those exercises that are going to help you to ground your energy, touching the soil. I mean, if you even think about the word grounding, right? The ground, Mother Earth, it's essentially you finding yourself back to yourself, if that makes sense. Right? It's finding yourself back to yourself. Centering yourself essentially is connecting with nature. And one of the most powerful elements of nature is the earth, the soil that connects us to nature. Right? It's actually said that people who have various like mental illnesses, they like when they put them in situations where they're touching the soil, they're feeling the soil, they're walking barefoot, which is another thing that you can do aside from gardening. They're more likely to recover quicker when they are connected with the earth, whether it is by touching the soil to plant various things or walking barefoot. Those are some various exercises that you can do to ground your energy. So thank you for bringing that up. And that's one of the things for me that's important as well, is to, connect with the earth. Hi Denise's. How can I shield myself at work? I work in a very small cubicle. and I can feel intense energies at times. I'm too sensitive. Um, Thank you for that question. So, especially if you're an empath, uh, one of the things that I would say, if I'm just thinking in a way, if it was me in that position, I mean, you could ask to see if you can remove yourself from the the area that you feel like you're kind of like feeling the intense energy. Like for example, if you work in one cubicle, perhaps asking if you can put yourself in a different um, position or a different cubicle, so that way you can avoid that energy. Another thing that I would do is, if possible, like if you're able to use aromatherapy, perhaps have various things that kind of like give you a calming sense. You know, lavender as an herb tends to be very relaxing and calming. So perhaps, and I'm not sure how you would do that. Like I know they have like scented sachets and stuff like that. Perhaps keeping that around, you know, to help calm your energy. But overall, like personally, I would say that if you are able to kind of like avoid being around that intense energy, um, well, let me ask, I'm not sure if it's a person or is it just the work environment overall. So you kind of have to like figure out, okay, is this coming from someone that you're working with? Is this coming from um, the actual workplace itself? So that's one of those things that I would say, try to figure out where it is coming from exactly. But those are some of the things that I would do. See if you can, you know, put yourself in a position where if it is that particular area, see if you can kind of switch, you know, to a different area. If it is the actual workplace itself, now that's definitely something that needs a little bit more consideration. You said, yeah, it's not easy being an empath and dealing with stressful environment. I will do the aromatherapy, haven't done it at work. What I've also done is, aside from the sachet, you can actually make your own aromatherapy spray. Now, with that, you kind of have to be careful because you know certain people can be allergic to certain things, and you know it gets a little tricky. So, if you were in the office by yourself, it's secluded, then I would feel more comfortable saying, okay, you can use an aromatherapy spray to ground your energy. But if you're around people, you know, there's that whole thing about, okay, what if they're allergic, and you know, it can get a little bit messy. So it would have to kind of be more so something that you're able to do for yourself. Like you can bring the oil at work, all right, and this is something that I've done. You could bring the oil to work and just kind of like put it in your, you know, kind of roll. If it's a roll on or something, you could roll it on your wrist and, you know, just use the scent occasionally. But, you know, be careful because people make assumptions sometimes. But let's see, it's more in general when people are in bad mood. Oh, you okay? So you basically feel people's energies in general. It's not one particular person. Like when someone's going through something, you kind of you pick up on their energy. Um, yeah, I would still try to do those things. You know, I would still try to do those things, like keeping the aroma, keeping the essential oils around, I think is a good idea. Making sure that you spend time outside of that workplace is important as well, especially when you know that it's coming from there. So if it's definitely a place that you get to be in at this moment and there's no way around it, make sure that you take like periodic breaks of, okay, I'm gonna go outside, spend some time in the sun, you know, replenish your energy, take a deep breath, because sometimes It's also about being confined in, like, being in a confined space that can be a little bit intense. So yeah, like go out periodically, take breaks and connect with the sun. You could do sun gazing. Okay, you could do a little bit of sun gazing. I'm telling you, sun gazing works. If you've ever felt like any kind of like negative energy around you and you're in a position where you're in a place that's sunny and you're able to go out in the sun, go out in the sun for like, even if it's just like 5 minutes, do some sun gazing. Okay, you do some sun gazing. So basically where you go out, you put your, like, you allow the sun to touch your face, right? And then as the sun is touching your face, you begin to smile and smile with intention. Smile also as you are breathing. Sun gazing has helped for me, so perhaps it's something that can help for you. Okay, so let me see if I can address some of the other questions. Denise, I hope that helps. Does wearing copper help?